90-Day Fiancé. How did Greg Chillak get the money for Joan Kruchov's $3,000 dowry? Greg Chillak from 90-Day Fiancé has done the unexpected as he managed to gather the money for Joan Kruchov's steep dowry. Living in Long Island, New York, with his mom, Lucille, Greg welcomed Joan after her move from Ghana. His ultimate dream is to open his own bakery, but for now, Greg has been working as a plumber to save money. Greg hoped to move out and begin a new life with Joan as soon as possible. Despite financial struggles and family pressure, his determination helped him achieve what once seemed nearly impossible. Joan encouraged her husband to start earning so they could eventually have a place of their own. However, she also came across as ungrateful towards Greg's mom, Lucille, who had generously given them a place to stay. Joan made unnecessary comments about Lucille, suggesting she should leave the house more often to give the couple some privacy. Her remarks clearly hurt Lucille, who had been trying to support them. Despite the tension, Lucille still went out of her way to do something she believed would make both Greg and Joan happy, showing grace in a difficult situation. Joan's absurd dowry request explained. Greg is clearly not in the best financial position, and his unemployment only adds to the strain. He currently lives with his mother and does not contribute to the rent. On top of that, he's now responsible for covering the costs of the wedding, Joan's dress, and various cultural customs. Joan received a call from her family asking about Greg. She said he was mostly great, though she admitted to feeling a little frustrated at times. Later, she sat down with Greg to discuss the dowry. Surprised, he questioned how realistic it was for him to afford 15 cows. Joan firmly stated that in her culture, it was customary for a man to pay a dowry often worth 15 cows. She pointed out that Greg couldn't afford such a dowry because he didn't have a job. Greg, frustrated, argued that it was unfair for him to cover all the expenses, including the dowry, especially given his financial struggles. Joan dismissed his concerns, simply saying, "Culture is culture." The conversation grew tense as they confronted the reality of Greg's unemployment. Many fans commented that Greg should have considered these cultural expectations before bringing Joan to the United States. Greg reveals he's paid off Joan's dowry. In episode 15, Greg was planning to surprise Joan with his costume. He revealed he had paid off the dowry so they could actually get married now. He spoke about how he was going to show up in a cow costume to surprise Joan. He shared how Joan had been asking him about the dowry every day, about whether he had paid it. Greg spoke about the dowry involving 15 cows at $200 a pop, which made the total dowry worth $3,000. Fortunately, my mom and dad paid for the wedding. Greg revealed that his parents were now going to foot his wedding expenses. It had freed up a lot of Greg's budget, and he could now pay Joan's bride price through his savings. He felt like a huge burden had been lifted off his shoulders. Greg was glad that they could now finally have Joan's family's blessings and truly begin having a happy marriage. "I'm proud of you that you paid the dowry." Joan was shocked when Greg told her he had paid the dowry. It took her a minute to process the information, but when she did, Joan couldn't stop smiling. She told Greg she was really proud of him. In Joan's culture, fathers usually set dowries for their daughters, so her father decided her dowry before he died. Since Greg had finally paid the dowry, he had shown respect towards her culture, her family, and her father's last wishes. Joan loved Greg for his gesture and was thankful for what he had done. Joan's money demands could keep increasing. Joan originally planned to save money by having the wedding at home instead of booking a venue. However, Lucille took them to see a venue offering a full wedding package, including an open bar and food for $8,900. She said she wanted her son to have the experience of a lifetime. Lucille suggested Greg contribute just $1,000, while she and Greg's father, her ex-husband, would cover the rest. "You know that's what families do, they give," she told Greg and his fiancée. Lucille's offer seemed to ease the pressure on the couple and brought some excitement back to the 90-Day Fiancé wedding planning. However, now that Joan knew Lucille and Greg's father were willing to help financially, she may have started wondering if Greg could ask them for help renting an apartment in New York City. Joan had expressed clear gratitude to Greg's parents and seemed hopeful about building a future with him outside of Lucille's home. But in the very next episode of 90-Day Fiancé, tensions rose when Lucille stopped Joan from seeing her own wedding dress. 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, My Big Fat Fabulous Life and Welcome to Plathville return in July. Exclusive favorites are returning this summer. 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, My Big Fat Fabulous Life and Welcome to Plathville are all coming back in July, the Wrap has exclusively learned. First up will be My Big Fat Fabulous Life, which will premiere its 13th season on July 1 at 9 p.m. ETPT. The reality show follows Whitney Thor and her family. This new season follows Thor as she makes some bold moves to get the life she wants and continues her search for love. With her signature humor and heart, she reignites her passion for dance, explores the possibility of a fresh start in Salem, Massachusetts, and takes meaningful steps toward becoming a mother on her own through artificial insemination. A press release for the season reads, "My Big Fat Fabulous Life" is produced for TLC by Pilgrim Media Group, a division of Lionsgate Alternative Television, that will be followed by the newest installment of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Whereas 90 Day Fiancé follows couples as they navigate the American K-1 visa process, Happily Ever After checks in on fan-favorite couples in the next stage of their relationship. Season 9 will premiere on July 6 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time/Pacific Time and will follow 8 couples: Gino and Jasmine, Brandon and Julia, Tiger Lily and Adnan, Kara and Guillermo, Jovi and Yara, Elizabeth and Andre, Loren and Alexei, and finally Darcy and Georgie. After the honeymoon stage wears off, these couples will have to adjust to their real lives together. 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Is produced for TLC by Sharp Entertainment, which is a part of Sony Pictures Television Nonfiction. The last new series to premiere on TLC in July will be Season 7 of Welcome to Plathville, which returns July 22 at 10 p.m. Eastern Time/Pacific Time. The series originally followed Kim and Barry Plath and their 9 kids, who lived on a rural farm in Georgia with limited access to the outside world. As the series has progressed, it's followed the Plaths in different stages of their lives. Love is in the air for several of the Plaths, who are each wondering if they have found the one. A press release for the series reads, "As Lydia and Zach speed toward after just 4 months of dating, Micah and Veronica hit a rough patch. Meanwhile, Barry and Kim are still navigating their ongoing divorce." Welcome to Plathville is produced by A. Smith and Company. Productions for TLC. ICE is gonna kick me out. 90 Day Fiancé's Jasmine Pineda reveals new terrifying immigration update. Jasmine Pineda from 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Recently opened up about her immigration status in the United States and a potential deportation scare. She married Gino Palazzolo in June, and just a few months later, they sought marriage counseling to address their intimacy issues. Eventually, Jasmine and Gino agreed to explore open marriage, but she unexpectedly became pregnant with her friend, Matt Brownies, and gave birth to her 3rd child in the United States. Jasmine also obtained her green card and is now set to return for 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Season 9 with Gino. Jasmine has been living in the United States for over 2 years, but her life as an immigrant may not be as stress-free as many might have imagined. In a TikTok live session, which was later reposted by Therialitmus, Jasmine discussed her experiences in the United States. She mentioned living in a constant state of anxiety, nervousness, and fear that ICE, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, was gonna come and kick her out of the country. Jasmine didn't provide specific details about the reasons for her fears. However, she made it clear that she constantly felt stressed and worried about being sent back to Panama by ICE. Despite this fear, she tried to stay positive by smiling during the live session. Many fans in the comments seemed unsympathetic towards Jasmine's situation. What Jasmine's immigration battle in the U.S. means. Jasmine didn't disclose the reason for her concerns related to ICE, but there are several reasons why she may be feeling stressed and uncertain about her future in the United States. It appears that the main cause of Jasmine's worry is the fact that her relationship with Gino, who had sponsored her K-1 visa, didn't work out. If she obtained a conditional green card, she would likely have to reapply to have those conditions removed. However, she might need Gino to be present for this process, which isn't possible since they separated on bad terms. Jasmine may also be worried that Gino may try to deport her, although he hasn't mentioned anything about that. She may be concerned that ICE will deport her on suspicion of committing marriage-based fraud, especially if Gino reported it as such in court. Perhaps Jasmine may simply be worried because she doesn't fully understand the United States legal system. She may not be aware of all her full rights as a green card holder and is afraid that ICE may deport her from the country in the near future. Our take on Jasmine's heartbreaking immigration update. While it's easy to speculate why Jasmine is concerned, it's also possible that she brought up the deportation topic to spark controversy. Over the past several months, Jasmine has made several posts teasing fans. The fact that she smiled while discussing her fears related to deportation suggests that she may not be as worried as she claimed. However, if Jasmine is genuinely concerned about her status in the United States, she should consult with a lawyer to discuss the issue. Understanding more about her rights will help the 90-day fiancé. Happily ever after? Cast member feel more secure. 90-day fiancé's Rob Warren's shocking relationship update with Sophie Sierra amid Hunt for Love debut. 90-day fiancé star Rob Warren is opening up about his current relationship status with Sophie Sierra as he returns to TV on 90-day Hunt for Love, following an unsuccessful attempt to fix things on The Last Resort Season 2. Rob, an actor and model from Los Angeles, first connected with Sophie when she found his profile on Instagram and began messaging him. However, during their long-distance relationship, Rob was also chatting with other women online, leading to serious trust issues. Despite giving therapy a shot after marrying, Sophie ended the relationship just months into their marriage. Rob and Sophie parted ways in the recommitment ceremony after Sophie chose her own happiness. However, they also admitted to hooking up later when they filmed the tell-all. What's the latest on this couple's marital status? Rob has let In Touch know that neither he nor Sophie has filed for divorce. Sophie and I have definitely already talked about it, Rob told the publication. He mentioned that Sophie had spoken to a lawyer and so had he. However, Rob had yet to hire a lawyer, and he didn't have the paperwork ready either. Considering Sophie had talked to a lawyer, Rob revealed what she had found out about their case. It's just gonna take a little bit of time, Rob informed the source what Rob and Sophie not being divorced means for their 90-day fiancé future. Rob will be seen in 90-day Hunt for Love among several other 90-day fiancé cast members from previous seasons. He appears to be the only newcomer in the long list of familiar faces such as Colt Johnson and Usman Umar. It goes on to show how popular Rob has become within just a couple of years of his debut. While his relationship with Sophie did not work out, he got himself involved in as many controversies as he could to make a mark in the franchise. Perhaps what sealed the deal for him was his feud with Jasmine, due to which Rob emerged as a villain. Meanwhile, Sophie has charmed viewers with her sweet and likable personality. Fans rallied behind her, especially after seeing how Rob treated her during their marriage. Beyond the show, Sophie has built a strong presence on social media, sharing fashion and fitness content while also earning income through adult modeling and her own online business. Being part of 90-day fiancé has significantly boosted both her and Rob's public profiles. Although Rob insists their relationship is over for good, the fact that their divorce is still pending suggests there may still be unresolved feelings and possibly more to come. Our take on Sophie and Rob getting back together in the future. 90-day fiancé fans are well aware of Rob and Sophie's rocky history, having seen them break up and reconcile multiple times, both before their reality TV debut and on the show. Even after Sophie rejected Rob during The Last Resort, the two reportedly hooked up while filming Between the Sheets. This came after Rob was seen in Mexico, mingling with other women and even sparking dating rumors with 90-day fiancé alum Jennifer Tarazona. Despite everything, Rob and Sophie seem to keep the door open, leaving fans wondering if another reunion is just around the corner.